Welcome to Coach on the Couch. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski. Coach on the Couch, sponsored by Chips Hamburgers here in the Chips Hamburgers Fieldhouse at Marshfield Senior High School, and we're visiting today with girls basketball coach Taylor Varsho. Coach, thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back now. I'm told your fourth year. So tell us about that. You're number 4, and then what keeps you coming back every year?
Yeah, so it's my start of my 4th year here as the Marshfield girls basketball coach, and I think what keeps coming back is the relationships that I build with each and every individual in the program. Now as being a teacher in the district for 4 years, I'm at the middle school now, so not really in the building, but still seeing, my previous players come back. Some of my previous players have coached my summer leagues, and so trying to create young individual ladies that, not only are impactful in the community, but also, represent Marshfield as a whole, whether they're on the court or in the classroom.
Well, we'll talk about last year's team just a little bit. It may go on longer than either of us would like, but we'll talk about it a little bit.
Right.
You had some seniors that I'll just go ahead and call them out since I've got my list here. Seniors on last year's team: Brianna Varsho, Hannah Holly, Quincy Lang, Caitlin Abney, and of course Maddie Michaels. Maddie with a very storied career here at Marshfield Senior High School. But the other seniors too. It takes a senior group. So kind of just help us put a bow on last year's seniors.
Yeah, they were a great group of girls that had leadership skills. I just looked at, where they started when I took over the program and how they, created and developed their skills, not only basketball skills, but overall life skills that, I had them for 3 years. Now, they're doing really good things, whether they're going to college, whether they've, got a job, but they're active participants, whether they're in the community or, and they're ready. They're ready for that next step. Basketball-wise, none of them chose to go on and play college basketball, but that's the beauty of some of these things. I'm creating girls to create lifelong not friendships, but just lifelong individuals that they're going to be successful in the world and ready for those life lessons when they hit them.
Yeah, lifelong relationships for sure,
yeah.
And no matter where you or those girls are in life, you'll always remember each other.
Absolutely.
During those lifelong.
I remember specific moments. I just remember for instance, Maddie Michaels, going and hitting the last second shot against West here, to clear the conference championship.
Yeah.
It wasn't last year's season, but just those little things that you remember about those specific individuals that make me want to still come back and coach. And this is a fun time for me. It's fun to be in the gym. And yes, it gets long. It's a long season, but I just think of all those really great experiences and getting goosebumps talking about it. It's just, that's what makes me come back every year.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Maddie hit that shot. And it's one of our moments as Zaleski Sports that is, in the top, whatever, maybe the best, maybe the top one, as far as just, those moments that I'll always remember and relationships that we get to develop along the way.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we did. We went around last year during COVID. We did a lot of Zoom interviews. This was done on Zoom last year. And then Maddie's was one of them. And I don't even remember why we had her on the Zoom, but we did. And she turned on her camera, and she was in a limo. She's being driven around. I mean, that's Maddie Michaels, right? She's in a limo, and it had a lot of fun with her. Anyway, it was very good. So. Let's transition then into this year's crop of seniors and talk about senior leadership and what these girls need to do to be where you want them to be and to be where they want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have 5 seniors. Madison Boss, Brooklyn Bowman, and Lauren Jacoby are my returning ones, as well as Lizzie Hansen was going to be my, she was going to come out for the team, but decided to be a manager for the team, so still in the program. And then Elise Postolick, she played JV last year, and now is coming into the program this year as a varsity player. So with those 5 seniors, I also have a foreign exchange student that is also a senior in the program, but she's on the JV level. But with those 5 girls, I think, especially 3 of them having varsity experiences last year, Madison Boss and Lauren Jacoby really being the ones that have had the more minutes than anyone across the board. But they really bring kind of that leadership role and kind of lead in their own specific way, and that's what I love about them. They're not going to score a lot of points in the game, and they know that. They're going to be quick hitters here and there. They know what they need to get better at, and they're just overall really good kids. And you can't get mad at them sometimes because they just do whatever you ask. And as a coach, being in that position, you just want workers, and you just want hustlers, and you just want kids that are kind of come out and just do whatever you ask. They know they're not the most talented, and they know that they come to practice every day, and they just bust. They bust their butt for me, and that's what I love about them. So those are my seniors, and that across the board, with those 5 seniors is going to be pretty special.
Last year's team had some challenges. One that I thought stood out more than the rest was rebounding or lack thereof.
Yeah.
You've had a week of practice now. What's been some of those focal points? What's some of the emphasis coming into the season?
Yeah, our team philosophy, and I think from last year to this year, we're obviously a little bit more taller, across the board. Abby Ugna's coming back. We have Ashley Grant-Korvitz, who played JV last year. She's grown. Danny Minsauce being a point guard. Unfortunately, she was out today during our scrimmage, but, we have length in the program coming back. Cami Whipperfenning, who's played last year, and as well as 2 other really, really talented kids, Ayanna Bossum and Rayala Schuler, coming back too. So, are coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
So across the board, we could potentially start 5'11" in the height position across the board, all 5 players, and even taller than that. Abby Ugna's 6 foot. So really athletic group coming up, and the beauty of it is that they're sophomores. So that's really exciting for us coaches to be a part of, and overall we've kind of changed the way we practice. We want to be in shape. We want to be, we want to play fast. We want to, be able to full court press eventually down the road. And I'm really excited for that opportunity with the group that I have this year.
You mentioned Abby. She was one who she came up on your team for a little bit last year, back to JV, and then came up and really impressed.
Yeah.
She, along with some others, I have the ability to see them participate in their other sports during the year.
Yeah.
Mentioned Cammie coming from swimming. So these, I know the other girls that maybe didn't do a fall sport. They're obviously doing something else.
Yeah.
But what can those other sports help with, and some of your girls, when they're playing these other sports, conditioning is different, but yet, some of the muscle groups and some of the skills, and then just the learning. What kind of a mix do you have in that way?
Yeah, I think being a 2-sport, 3-sport athlete is almost kind of unheard of now these days because, the time commitment. The time is a lot, and I get that. But I encourage female athletes to challenge themselves in going out for a sport that maybe they're not used to. I think the different movements helps them be successful in all sports across the board. Cammie was a volleyball player. And I look at her, she went out for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Being a swimmer, something that she's very unfamiliar with, very uncomfortable with. But she tried something new and ended up loving it, and was, I believe, a varsity player, and was a sub for going into their sectional. Just doing something, being involved, being a part of that something, she's going to remember those memories for a really long time. And that's what we're trying to create here in the basketball program, is to create memories, regardless of what level you're at, but do something. The athletes that don't do anything, those are the ones that I worry about. When you're a 1-sport athlete, you're not getting those different movements. You're not, seeing somebody else say the same message to you across the board. So I think it's really important for girls to not limit themselves and keep going out for, volleyball, swimming, tennis. I have a lot of tennis players. Lauren Jacoby's a tennis player, Danny Minsauce, Samantha Ridgway. They're all tennis players. And tennis, I played tennis going through high school, and that was one of my, besides basketball, I loved basketball, but, tennis was a great sport for me in general, but doing something else, being involved in the Marshfield athletic program is something to put on your resume, and something really special.
A little known secret, everything that Taylor did in high school was spectacular.
Not quite, but okay.
Due to hard work, no doubt about that. All right, so I mentioned some of the challenges from last year. No doubt all the other coaches in the conference are watching this right now, so let's not give away any strategy, but what is something this year's team that you think people coming to watch the games might surprise them when they come to watch your team this year?
Yeah, I think we're going to be, just a different mentality both on the offensive and defensive end. My coaches in general have brought just a different perspective to the program. Scott Shorter being my assistant, coached the boys program for 6 years, I believe. Being my assistant this year, we really have created a relationship that he can jump in, I can jump in, and we really bounce each other ideas off of each other really well. And I can't thank him enough for everything that he's done, not only for me personally, but just the program in general, and we're only a week in. Coach Bell, he's coming from Fond du Lac, he's new to the district, took over for James McDonald here in the Phi Ed department, and he's been fabulous to have on staff. He coached Fond du Lac for 7 years as a varsity head coach, but just brings a different perspective of different drills, and that's what I love about him, because he has that knack, and he's in building. He sees those girls, some of the girls he has in class. So really, just brings a different perspective. And Coach Kading over at the JV2 level, again, this is my second year with her at that level, and she just does a really great job with those girls and developing and creating fundamental drills for them to hopefully, not only stay at the JV2 level, but challenge them enough to be at the JV1 and then eventually varsity. My coaches bring just a different idea and perspective, to the court, as well as, just challenge me as a coach. I felt like, not only in years past, but last year I didn't have a varsity assistant. And so to have somebody that can take over a drill or, help me out with this, so I'm not always the one talking, I think it is super beneficial. And having having a staff with so much knowledge and experience, being in that head coach's role, they know what it takes to be a head coach. And, to have people that just, do the extra things, do the little things, some of the things that I don't have to worry about, whether it's in game, whether it's in practice, or, Coach Shore is saying, hey, Taylor, how about this? Let's look at it this way. It's great to have that. And again, so going back to my coaching, and, going to this year, when fans come in, they're going to see kids ready to take the floor when that buzzer goes off at the beginning. And, eventually I'd like to, eventually play full court man-to-man defense, and as well as, you're not going to hear me call out plays very often, but trying to run a motion a little bit here and there. So that's what you're going to see. You're going to see an athletic group on the floor. I'm looking for athletes, and whether, that's, you do something really good defensively and offensively, trying to find that complete player. I know we're all going to have weaknesses here and there, but playing who is athletic enough to, play the entire game. So, that's what we're looking for here at Marshfield, and I think my coaching staff really brings that mentality at all three levels.
Yeah, some great additions, some good basketball minds on the staff this year. Again, all Marshfield Tiger girls home games are played at the Chips Hamburgers Fieldhouse right here on the campus of Marshfield Senior High School. Let's just touch on this very briefly, 60 seconds, and then we'll begin to wrap up here. You mentioned it, people coming back into the gym to watch your girls play. We saw it during fall sports, volleyball. I mean, it was loud in there during those volleyball games. What kind of a difference maker is that, do you think, to have a bunch of people in watching your girls play?
Yeah, I think having fans there, having, parents and grandparents and family members in general, little siblings. There's many little siblings that couldn't attend the game. Having our youth come and watch these players, I think is you can't explain it. And having a packed-filled gym is really a neat experience. I remember back to my times when I played; those were the games that I couldn't wait to touch the floor. Yes, the butterflies, yes, the nerves, but as soon as that first basket goes in, and your student body is cheering for you, that's like, no, you can't explain that. And you can take pictures and videos and all this stuff, but you can't explain the moment that makes you feel. And I know volleyball had a great season. Had a ton of fans, student student body was awesome, and I just hope that carries over to the winter sports.
Yeah, we tell people that all the time. Number one mission is to get down to the gym and watch the student athletes perform. They want you there. They need you there. They appreciate you being there. Our broadcasts are, kind of a backup plan, and we want people to understand that. All right, last serious question, and then we'll do a fun one. Computerized seating is a thing this year. So there'll be no more driving an hour somewhere or whatever, getting into a room, and then you sit there for 5 minutes and everybody knows the seats already, and then you leave. So computer seating, what do you think of that?
I love it. I think that, in years past, obviously you're pulling for your conference and pulling for your teams, but I think you're going to see the best, the best teams that are at the top, and that's how it's just going to be, quick. This is who we're picking first. This is who we're picking second. And, sometimes in years past when, you didn't get the seed you wanted, you could challenge them, and then it's a vote. You're not going to see that. And I think that's, even though I love talking to those coaches and getting together, but I just think that it's just going to be more on target of who's really the best teams in our sectional.
Yeah, one thing we saw during the football season, football had computer seating this year, very few upsets. So that means the computer is able to properly, I guess, rank those teams. Again, any given day, 16, 17-year-old kids, sometimes you don't know what's going to happen.
Yes.
But it seemed like things were being, done in the proper order. All right, I mentioned a couple times the Chips Hamburgers Fieldhouse. So my understanding is that every win you get a bag full of champs and biggies and cheeseburgers.
Our JV2 coach, Rhonda Katie, she works there. She's a manager. So, we go there often.
But what that really is about is the community and the Conradi family coming through and making sure that that support is known in a couple different ways. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chips has been around for a long time, and we go there often as our family. And I think the Conradi family does a lot for our community, and I am excited. I'm excited about I can't wait to play in the Chips Hamburger Fieldhouse, and it's just great to have that camaraderie here in Marshfield.
All right, wrap it up there, Coach on the Couch. Again, my name's Jason Zaleski. Coach Taylor Varsho, best of luck this year. We'll be watching every single game.
Thank you.